what photosynthetic pigments is done. Till now, the topics which we have done is, we have done the first, we did the experiments, early experiments. What we have done, the historical background of, till now we have done the historical background of photosynthesis. When I write PS, it's photosynthesis, PSY. Historical background of photosynthesis. Then we did the site of photosynthesis. Site of photosynthesis. This also we have done, in which we studied about the chlorophyll molecule, the grana, the stroma, all the parts of the chlorophyll. Then the third, which I have uploaded yesterday for you all, that was about the photosynthetic pigments. Okay, their nature, their structure, nature, their structure. And also one thing which I taught you there in yesterday's video, that is about the absorption capacity. Absorption capacity. What absorption? Capacity of light of different wavelengths. This is what we did till yesterday. Now we are on to the next one, which we are going to start today. And that new topic which we are going to start today is the new topic which we are going to start today is the process of photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis. As you know, photosynthesis you have done in 10th class also. The photosynthesis is divided into two parts. One is light reaction, and the other one is dark reaction. This is what the photosynthesis is divided into: light reaction and dark reaction. The light reaction is, the important point of this is light dependent. That means without light, this cannot take place. This is light dependent. This is also known as photochemical reaction. This is also known as photochemical reaction. And besides this, the light reaction is also known as photophosphorylation. The light reaction is also known as photophosphorylation. Why do we call it light dependent? We call it light dependent because in the absence of light, this reaction cannot take place. So basically, this is light dependent reaction. Why do we call it photochemical reaction? We call it photochemical reaction. Photo always means light. So this is the various chemical reactions takes place in the presence of light. So we call it photochemical reaction. And the term photophosphorylation. What is this, the term photophosphorylation? Photophosphorylation, that means in the presence of light, phosphorylation takes place, which means addition of phosphorus in the presence of light. So in the presence of light, the phosphorus is added. That means if to ADP, phosphorus, inorganic phosphorus is added, we will get ATP. So this is phosphorylation basically. That means addition of phosphorus. And as you know, by the end of this, many high energy compounds are formed. Now, dark reaction is light independent. The main point of this is light independent. This does not depend on light. Now, you will say that if it is light independent, what is the source of energy to accomplish this reaction? The source of energy for this reaction, the dark reaction, the source of energy to accomplish the dark reaction is the high energy compounds formed during at the end of light reaction. The source of energy to accomplish this reaction is the high energy compounds which are formed at the end of light reaction. And this reaction, dark reaction, is also known as Kelvin cycle, because this was explained by Melvin Kelvin. So this is also known as Kelvin cycle, also known as C3 cycle. So this has been given various names: Kelvin cycle, C3 cycle. This is a light independent reaction, and the source of energy is high energy compound. So this is little introduction about the dark reaction and the light reaction. Now, children, I think you all are sitting with the notebook and a pen, or you are noting it down. Of course, you will get the recording also, but have these notes whichever way. Okay, so I'll erase it for you. Let's start with the next one. Yes. So I'll tell you various events which take place in the light reaction. What happens in the light reaction? The various events of light reaction. The major events of light reaction, which I'll summarize and I'll let you know. So first thing which takes place in the light reaction is absorption of light. So this is the first event which takes place in the light reaction. The second thing which takes place in this is splitting of water molecule. So water molecules splits in light reaction. So splitting of water molecules take place. I'm getting some message. Is there any problem to anybody, beta? Because I could not read the message. I was busy there. Okay. So the splitting of water molecules. And the third event which takes place here is the release of oxygen. Release of oxygen. And the most important thing on which the dark reaction depends is the formation of high energy compounds like ATP and ADPH. These high energy compounds are formed at the end of the light reaction. So these are the major events of light reaction. Now we come to the next topic of photosynthesis. Yes. So we come to the next topic of photosynthesis. And this is about the quantosome, or what is a photosynthetic unit. In the common language, we will call it photosynthetic unit. So we come to the next topic, photosynthetic unit. Somewhere you will find another name to this, which is quantosome. Of course, one more term which is used is LHC, that is light harvesting complex. So here I would like to tell you what is this. When I think the students who have not seen yesterday's video, they will have little problem in understanding it, because in yesterday's video, I told you about photosynthetic pigments. I'll tell you a little more here, photosynthetic pigments. And I told you that the photosynthetic pigments are chlorophyll A, B, C, D, E, bacterial chlorophyll, and bacterioverdin. This is also a bacterial chlorophyll. Verdin, V-I-R-D-I-N. This is also a bacterial chlorophyll. Besides this, there are carotenoids. These are various types of chlorophyll pigment. So the first line is of chlorophyll pigment. The second pigment is carotenoid, and the third pigment is phycobilins. So we have three types of photosynthetic pigments. Chlorophyll is of these types: chlorophyll A, B, C, D, E, bacterial chlorophyll, and bacterioverdin. This is various types of chlorophyll. Besides this, we have carotenoids and phycobilins. So these are various types of photosynthetic pigments. And out of this chlorophyll A, which is a chlorophyll pigment, this is the main photosynthetic pigment, whereas all these others, B, C, D, E, bacterial chlorophyll, bacterioverdin, carotenoids, phycobilins, they all are accessory photosynthetic pigments. So we have main photosynthetic pigment, which is chlorophyll A, and rest of them are accessory photosynthetic pigment. They support the process of photosynthesis by providing and transferring their energy to chlorophyll A. So this forms the main part of chlorophyll A. Then just you need to watch the video. Here I have given little information about what I told you yesterday. So here, let's start with, this was the little information which I taught yesterday. So now, let's come to light harvesting complex, or photosynthetic unit, or quantosome. See, quantosome basically, or photosynthetic unit, we can say it is a collection of, or gathering or accumulation of all photosynthetic pigments. That means all the photosynthetic pigments, chlorophyll, all the forms of chlorophyll, and carotenoids, xanthophyll, they all accumulate, or they all gather or collect, they collect so as to support. Why do they collect? Why do they gather? So as to support the process of photosynthesis. That means this way they support, they perform so as to, rather in place of support we should write so as to perform the process of photosynthesis, not support. It has to be performed so as to perform the process of photosynthesis. Now all the photosynthetic pigment, because photosynthetic pigments are the main raw material for the process of photosynthesis. So all the photosynthetic pigment, that means all forms of chlorophyll, then carotenoids, I told you 2 forms of carotenoids also, then phycobilins, they all accumulate, they all gather together and perform the process of photosynthesis. When they gather together, they form a unit. When all these photosynthetic pigments, they gather together, they form a unit, and that unit is known as photosynthetic unit or quantosome or LHC, which is light harvesting complex. So they form a photosynthetic unit which has these 3 names: photosynthetic unit or quantosome or LHC. And why do they gather? Why do all the photosynthetic pigments accumulate? They accumulate so as to perform the process of photosynthesis. Now, how do they gather and how do they perform the process of photosynthesis? That I'm going to tell you now. Now here, the light harvesting complex or photosynthetic unit or quantosome, it appears like this. See, we have always, yesterday in my lecture, I told you that the chlorophyll A is always the main photosynthetic pigment. It is the main photosynthetic pigment. Why it is the main photosynthetic pigment? Because chlorophyll A forms the reaction center where the photosynthesis actually takes place. That means it is the reaction center. And also here, initiation of the process of photosynthesis takes place, as well as maximum photosynthesis takes place at this reaction center, which is formed by chlorophyll A. So chlorophyll A lies in the center, and then because this is the major pigment, major photosynthetic pigment is chlorophyll A. So it lies in the center and forms a reaction center. And the other accessory pigments, where do they accumulate? They accumulate in its surroundings. They accumulate around it. So these are all various photosynthetic pigments. Chlorophyll, that means chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, chlorophyll D, chlorophyll E, then carotenoids, they all accumulate around the chlorophyll A. Now, this forms a light harvesting complex. Of course, this particular till here, this is known as antenna complex. This full is known as antenna complex. Antenna complex. In the center, what do we have? In the center, we have chlorophyll A, and this is the major photosynthetic pigment, and here we have all the accessory photosynthetic pigments. Now, what is their function? What is their function? What is the function of all the pigments? The pigments, these pigments, their function is to absorb the light. So light, what term do we use for light? We use the term photons. Photons. So they absorb the sunlight. The photons are absorbed by them. When the photons are absorbed by them, see, This also absorbs, chlorophyll A itself absorbs, and they also absorb light. And the difference is chlorophyll A absorbs on its own and utilizes it, whereas the accessory pigments, when they absorb light, the light which they absorb it and then they transfer it to chlorophyll A. They absorb the light, other accessory pigments absorb the light and transfer it to chlorophyll A. So that means chlorophyll A, being the major pigment, doesn't only receive light on its own, but it gets the energy from the accessory pigments also. So all the energy which is received by the accessory pigments is also transferred to the chlorophyll A, which forms a major respiratory pigment. That is also transferred to the chlorophyll A, which is the major photosynthetic pigment. Now here, what happens? When this chlorophyll A absorbs a lot of light, then what happens? The electrons which are present in it gets excited. A pair of electrons gets excited. And that pair of electron jumps out of its normal state. So this is the normal energy level. So it jumps out. A pair of electron gets excited and it comes out of its shell. Now, where will it go? In the system, in the light harvesting complex or quantosome or photosynthetic unit, to accept this electron which is now at the excited level, we have a acceptor, and that acceptor is known as, just a minute, that acceptor is known as primary electron acceptor. That is known as primary electron acceptor. So that is received by primary electron acceptor, and then this primary electron acceptor passes it to various other acceptors, and then finally what happens that it forms ATP, NADP, and then it comes to the normal level. This happens normally. Now, when this particular process is performed in the lab, when this process is performed in the lab, suppose we perform this process in the lab, we have a chlorophyll A, then we have accessory pigments around it. Accessory pigments are present around it, all the accessory pigments. And then in the lab, in here, in vitro conditions. So these are in vitro conditions. If we are performing it in the lab, chlorophyll A is there, accessory pigments are there. Then what happens? If artificially the light is given, the light is received, and the light, of course, from here also flows into it, then what happens? Again, because the energy level rises, when the energy level rises, a pair of electron gets excited, and that pair of electron which gets excited, it comes out of its shell, it gets excited. Now, in the artificial system, we do not have any primary electron acceptor. There is no primary electron acceptor like we have this in the natural condition. When it takes place in the plants, we have a primary electron acceptor to accept the electrons which get excited. But when it is taking place in the laboratory condition, we do not have any such acceptor. So what happens? Once it gets excited, it comes to the excited level, and after that, obviously, it will come down. It will come down to its normal level. Now, before it comes down to its normal level, it releases a sort of energy, light, in the form of light. Before, how does it come out? It has to release the energy which it has gathered. So that is released in the form of light. Okay, that is visible in the form of different colors of light, and then it comes to the normal state. And this process in which this light energy is released is known as fluorescence. This is known as fluorescence. So this happens in the in vitro condition if we are performing this experiment in the laboratory condition. Whereas normally what happens when an electron gets excited due to absorbing energy, the electron is accepted. It gets excited, and finally when it comes out of its shell, it is accepted by primary electron acceptor, which is present in the plants. Now in these system which is LHC, here we have two types of photosystems. These are known as photosystems. We have, these are also known as photosystems. We have two types of photosystems. I'll erase it and I'll show you again. Yes. So there are, when we talk of the light harvesting complex, we have two types of photosystems in them. Photosystems. Just a minute. Two types. There are two types of photosystems which are known as PS1 and PS2. There are two types of photosystems, PS1 and PS2. How do they differ and how do they look like? They are almost similar. Chlorophyll A in the center, accessory pigments outside, all lying outside the reaction center. I told you where chlorophyll A lies. This chlorophyll A is present at the center, and this is known as reaction center. And we have accessory pigments outside, same. This is also same, chlorophyll A in the center and accessory pigments outside. Okay. The only difference between the two photosystem is their absorption capacity. In case of photosystem 1, this is very clearly given in your NCERT book also. In PS1, the reaction center chlorophyll A has an absorption peak at 700 nm. That is, it is P700. That means if it is photosystem 1, this chlorophyll A, it has maximum absorption of wavelength, which is, it is of 700 nm, the maximum wavelength it can absorb, the peak of maximum wavelength, it is 700 nm, whereas in case of PS2, it is 680 nm. So this is also, we also call it P700, and this is also known as P680. So this is about the absorption capacity of the reaction center. The absorption capacity in case of PS1 and PS2 both are different. In case of PS1, the maximum absorption capacity of chlorophyll A is 700 nm, whereas the absorption capacity of the reaction center, the peak is 680 in case of the PS2. So this is the difference between the light, the photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Now children, if sufficient time is left, I'll start with the next topic. Okay children, so I think I'll not be able to start the next topic because just 4 minutes are left, and in this 4 minutes, if I start with the topic, I'll be left. So I'll repeat whatever I have taught you. I have told you a little about the photosynthetic pigments, that there are 4 types of photosynthetic pigment. Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll has many types: chlorophyll A, B, C, D, E, and bacterial chlorophyll and bacterioverdin. Then we have second type of chlorophyll pigment, photosynthetic pigment, which is carotenoids. Carotenoids are further of 2 types, carotene and xanthophylls. Then we have the third type of photosynthetic pigment, which is phycobilins. Phycobilins are further of 2 types, phycocyanin and phycoerythrin. All these out of all these photosynthetic pigment, chlorophyll A is the major photosynthetic pigment, because chlorophyll A, it forms the reaction center, and it means it lies in the center of the LHC, or of the antenna complex. It lies in the center, and all the other accessory pigments where they lie around it. Okay, so these accessory pigment, they first they absorb the light energy and then transfer it to chlorophyll A. So all of them, they transfer their energy to chlorophyll A. So chlorophyll forms the major pigment of the process of photosynthesis. Now, the chlorophyll A and all the segments, when they absorb energy, pass it to the chlorophyll A. Chlorophyll A itself also absorb energy. The electron in chlorophyll A gets, a pair of electron gets excited and it jumps out of its shell. And this excited electron in the natural condition is accepted by the primary electron acceptor. Okay, whereas if it is done in the artificial condition, there is no acceptor, so the electron, the pair of electron which comes out of it, it is not accepted by any acceptor. Rather, it comes back to its normal state, and while coming back to its normal state, it releases energy in the form of different colors of light. That process is known as fluorescence. Now, here we have two types of photosystems. Okay, the LHC has two types of light harvesting complex. In the light harvesting complex, we see two types of photosystems: photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. The photosystem 1, what is the major difference between the two? In photosystem 1, the light absorbing capacity, the wavelength absorbing capacity is maximum of 700 nm in case of PS1, whereas the absorption capacity, absorption peak in PS2 is of 680 wavelength, 680 nm. So this is the major difference between the two photosystems which are seen in the antenna complex. Both these photosystems, they work together and they help in the process of photosynthesis. How they are going to help in the process of photosynthesis, that we will discuss tomorrow.